Hello there. This is my community experience number 2, where we had to go and observe a youth practice by Will Swan. That's me. All right, so what I chose to observe for this assignment, I picked a U15 boys travel team, soccer team. They're based out of Southern West Virginia. They're coached by Vaughn Griffiths. I also did my first community observation with him. He's the coach I decided to interview, and I'm grateful that he was able to allow me to come and observe one of his practices. So the 3 main things that I looked for while I was doing this observation were tactical and technical analysis. Tactical analysis is very important in soccer. The next thing I looked at were his teaching methods and then his observable coaching behaviors. So for the tactical and technical analysis, like I said, this is very, very crucial for soccer and varies depending on the age range that you're at. So I mentioned U15, that's right around the beginning of high school. And I would say around high school is when any sport that you play takes a step up in the level of play. People are starting to develop more, get bigger, but they've also been playing the game and they understand it. So it's really important to understand what age group you're working with and what level they're at and you're trying to get them to be at. So right away, gets into practice, start right on time when they said they were going to. He puts a huge emphasis on the warm-up. That is because soccer is a sport where you are moving around constantly, using all kinds of different muscles in your body. He does a dynamic warm-up, so that means that they're doing their stretches, but they're moving while they're doing it. Usually go to the top of the 18 and back. And then as the warm-up would go on, it would progressively get a little bit more challenging. They're moving around more, they're pushing their bodies a little bit more before they would end on sprints or fitness, going up and down at pretty full speed, giving them an idea of how fast they were going to be moving during the practice. From there, they moved into drills, and the main thing for these drills are effort. You're only going to make yourself so much better, and that's part of the reason why he wants to do this. A lot of the drills were more on the technical side to start, using your feet a lot, dribbling between cones, getting touches on the ball. While all that stuff does seem like, oh, when am I going to be doing this in the game? You're getting your foot and your body used to different things and doing them constantly. So it gives you that repetition. And he would always give feedback. If someone is struggling to dribble through the cones a little bit, he suggested ways to help do that or showed them what they were doing wrong. All right, so his teaching methods. He's pretty laid back, but you can only be so laid back when you're coaching. He's very hard working. Drills are always set up and ready to go by the time the squad was done with the drill. He would be joking around, keeping things light with the group of kids he was with, but he's constantly letting them know, like, hey, we're here to train, we're here to get better, focus up when I need you to focus up. I touched on this a little bit earlier. He gives an explanation when necessary, because you can't just yell at a kid for doing something and expect them to understand exactly what they did. A prime example of this I saw was towards the end of their practice, and then they started scrimmaging a little bit more. It didn't come much of a practice. A kid had a ball, and he could have made another pass to another kid, but instead he took a shot, and it ended up being an awful shot. And instead of Griffiths running over and screaming at him for taking the shot, he explained that there was another man open that he could have passed to, but then he also turned to the rest of the team and said, you need to get on each other about communicating. Someone should have been telling him to make the pass. He might not have been able to see it. So the explanation I think is really good, but it helps with the kids and understanding what they need to do. Not necessarily that he's mad at them, that they're not performing the way he wants them to and needs them to do things a certain way. Repetition. This was, I would say, I saw this earlier on in the drills they did with the technical stuff. It seems that is something that they do regularly, some of those drills. And they might not be the most fun or seem like you're getting the most out of it, but the more you repeat and do something, the more it's going to stick with you and the better you're going to get at it. And in terms of soccer, you may think, oh, I'm just passing the ball back and forth with my friend. But instead you're working on your touches, you're working on the crispening of your passing. He also does game-like scenarios. You know, he puts yourself in game-like scenarios to get better. Things like this would be like scrimmaging, where they were doing offense, defense. They would start the ball at certain sides of the field without the defense being ready for it. Just keeping players on their toes, making sure that everyone is ready to go when need be. So some of the observable coaching behaviors I saw as I was watching this: he's got a lot of energy, you know, ready to go as soon as he gets there. He fosters a positive learning environment. You know, at that age, kids can tend to be a little rough towards each other. He tried to keep the environment, at least from what I saw, as lighthearted as possible, making sure everyone was positive with each other, you know, putting the emphasis on it's one team working together. You're only as good as you allow yourself to be and make your team. He's also a student of the game. He played soccer for his whole life and has coached all levels of kids, including collegiately. I believe that helps a lot when he's coaching, as he's able to take different things from different age groups and incorporate it into his game. And he's straight business, you know. He's there to get better and help you get better. And if you're not about the same thing, he'll tell you to go sit on the sideline or sit out until you're ready to start paying attention and be ready. Some of the knowledge learned: sell your image. He has an image of winning, but not just winning, but personal growth and to get better. And that's why he knows he's there, and what he wants to do is help sell his image of these kids coming together and playing, not only just to win, but to showcase their skills, to get their name out there, but most importantly, to play together as one team. You're playing with your band of brothers. The next thing, anytime I've ever talked to him, he's always telling me this: he's do something you love. You can see this right away when he is present for coaching, that his mind's not wandering, or he's wishing he was somewhere else doing something better, because in his mind there isn't anything better. He's committed to the game. He wants to coach. He wants to help kids transition towards a higher level. That's his goal for everyone, is that they can play at the next level of soccer. And that goes with the strive to be better. Never be satisfied with where you're at. Keep going towards the top. Don't let anything stop you. And if it is, figuring out why it's stopping you. Some of my final thoughts. I had a great time observing this practice. It brought back some memories. But it was nice to see how his coaching game has evolved and geared towards, this is a pretty high level of boys that he's playing with. It's a solid group. They compete in whatever state they go to. And he sets the intensity right away, makes sure that he hones into things like warming up properly, doing the drills at a fast enough pace. You know, all things like that are what make a coach great and what helps them to transition players into the next level. That is my community experience. Thank you very much for listening.